Welcome into the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I am your host, Harrison Graham. We're live on YouTube. We're also live on Rumble. Shout out to Rumble, rumble.com/ChiefsTV. Give us a follow over there for more Chiefs news and rumors videos. All right, second video of the day. We had a normal video go out earlier. Jerick McKinnon re-signing on a one-year deal. Talk a little bit about that, plus look ahead to Minicamp, which gets going tomorrow. But as always, we'll get the chat going. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are watching from. I got producer Trace, executive producer Patrick Seatman helping out today as well. So get in the live chat, and let's get this thing going. Hopefully a few more people get in here. We're in Dallas, Texas. We got Prada in Denver. JJ is out in Tigard, Oregon. Chiefs fan is in Kansas. We got Jamari Carter in Odessa. KL in Charleston, South Carolina. Chiefs fan 213 in Kansas. Jay in South Carolina. We got Matt in Knoxville. Matt Rader in Knoxville. We got Mihu in Mexico, Missouri. Devin says McKinnon. Yeah, Jerick McKinnon's back. Brendan says Charleston. We got Sean in Rolla, Missouri. We got True in West Virginia. John is in Philadelphia. So continue to represent where you're watching from. Shout out your city in the comments. True out in West Virginia. All right, are you guys happy that Jerick McKinnon is back? I am. Type Y for yes, type N for no. 92% of you on the live poll say yes, so that's a positive sign. I'm very happy. He played really well in the playoffs. I think he'll get an opportunity to have a big role on this team, and curious to see where he fits. Jamari says McKinnon is underrated. Agree. I think there's a real argument that he was, by the end of last season, this team's best running back for a variety of reasons. So that should be exciting. Already seeing a couple hashtag Chiefs in there, so load those up. We'll get to your questions later on in the show. Ronald says yes. True says yes. Logan, Hifa say yes. We got JJ, KL saying yes. Jaden, Matt, Jamari, Hifa, Jay, Chiefs fan, all saying yes. Mihu says I have mixed feelings on McKinnon. Fair enough. Brennan says how old is McKinnon? He's 30, so not old, but not young either. You know, he's not going to play forever, but remember he missed like 2 years, so he's I would say a younger 30 because he had those injuries in San Francisco. John says yes as well. What year did you guys become a Chiefs fan? Just curious, gauge the audience here. What year was it when you became a Chiefs fan? If you're not sure, just, kind of guess. You're like, I don't know, 1992, 93, 94, I don't know. Just say the 1990s or something like that. John says 1970. Hifa says 2007. Devin, 2010. Sean says when I was born in 1992. Chiefs fan 213 says 2009. AOQ says 2003. Priest Holmes. Ooh, Priest Holmes was a beast back in the day. Ronald says 1987. Jamari, 2019 when he got into football, he says. Mihu, 1980. 2015-16 for Logan. 97 from Prada. 1998 for KL. Robert says 1990. Jaden says 2006. Kelly says 1962. So a little all over the map, and I love it. Chiefs fans of all ages here. On the Chiefs report, we got Matt saying 1980. So I've seen as far back as 1970 and as recent as 2019. Oh, 1967 from Thomas. He's got y'all beat. Neil says 1971, Christmas Day. All over the place. Someone says, how do you feel about Tyreek saying Tua is more accurate than Mahomes? Use hashtag Chiefs, and I'll answer that question later on in the show. Speaking of which, load up those questions now. That way producer Trace can have plenty to go to when we get to our first mailbag. So use hashtag Chiefs, or you can super chat to get your questions on the show. We'll answer as many questions as we possibly can. Hashtag Chiefs or super chat. If you super chat, it's like the Fast Pass at Disney World. You can skip the line, and we'll answer those questions first. All right, can we get the FLVs going? F Las Vegas. No one likes the Raiders. Screw the Raiders. FLV down in the chat. Let's get it going. Mitchell Wren's giving me a thumbs down right now. I'm giving him a thumbs up because the FLVs are flying in the chat. Heifer Recon saying FLV. Logan saying FLV. Infested in there. We got Minhee saying FLV. Ronald, Nicole someone says, ooh, Eric Berry question. Hashtag Chiefs that piece, Devin. Minhee says FLV. Jaden says FLV. Chiefs fan. JJ Hackett. Robert. Devin. Mihu. Jamari all saying FLV. Dakota saying FLV. Lots of them coming in right now. All right, like this video if you love the Chiefs. Get a few more likes in there. Then we're going to start today's show here in just a moment. So hit that thumbs up icon and let me know once you've liked it, and I will give you a shout out as well. Devere says FLV. Dakota FLV. Mini FLV. Tons of FLVs coming into the chat. Hit that thumbs up icon, and we'll get this thing going. Coming up on today's show, we got a minicamp preview for you guys, 5 storylines to watch, so keep that in mind. Plus, we're going to answer all of your questions, so use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. All that and more is coming up right now. Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. On today's show, we got a minicamp preview for you guys taking place Tuesday through Thursday, June 14th through the 16th. So we'll take a look at some different position battles, things like that, 5 storylines in total to break down on today's show. But a little background as we get ready for minicamp here over the next 3 days. All 3 practices should have media access, which means we should have more information, get more tidbits coming out of these practices this week. It is mandatory, so we'll see if all the veterans are there, guys like Chris Jones and Frank Clark who weren't at voluntary OTAs, and hopefully that's the case, and hopefully we get more of an inside and closer look to this 2022 team. I would expect the intensity to ramp up a bit this week. You know, the Chiefs are a team, OTAs, it's, for some teams it almost isn't voluntary. I would put the Chiefs into that category. I don't think it's a huge deal for certain vets to not be there, but at minicamp, I think everybody should be there, and hopefully that is the case as we go along this week. What's the number one thing you're watching for at minicamp this week? What's maybe a storyline or a position battle or a specific player? Maybe you're keeping an eye on the rookies. I want to know the number one thing you're watching for at Chiefs minicamp. All right, here we go. We'll go one by one, top 5 minicamp storylines. And I think, to me, the thing I'm most intrigued with is this wide receiver position and the overall competition at it for Kansas City, because obviously with Tyreek Hill not in the fold, it's not really clear what this wide receiver depth chart is going to look like. These are very loose, listings, if you will, of wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. I think 1 through 4 or 5 or so could easily be jockeying with each other for more snaps. I mean, is Juju a true 1? Probably not. Cole Hardman's not a 1. Sky Moore's a rookie. Valdez-Scantling has had a good camp, but in his career, he hasn't proven to be a 1. Josh Gordon's in the mix. Justin Ross, Cornell Powell, Darius Fountain. A lot of competition. I think a lot of opportunity as this competition feels pretty wide open, not only for guys who are going to start, but guys who are going to make this roster. I mean, Watson was drawing a lot of praise during OTAs as well. So there's 9-10 guys jockeying for 5 or 6 spots. And then among those 6 who make the team, 3 to 4 of those guys are, jockeying for the most playing time. So it's going to be very fascinating to kind of see the tiers break down here for this position this year, because you don't have a Tyreek Hill. You don't have a clear wide receiver 1. You have Travis Kelce, but that's a different position. He'll be the top overall weapon on offense, I assume, but not the top wide receiver. Who do you guys think will end up being wide receiver 1 for Kansas City? Will it be Juju? Will it be Valdez-Scantling? Could it be a sleeper like a Josh Gordon or a Justin Ross? Don't think that's likely, but who the hell knows? Let us know in the comments who will be this team's number 1 receiver. Our next Chiefs minicamp storyline is around the edge position, the depth, or really the lack thereof, as we've talked about this for months here on the Chiefs Report. That's why I was pushing to sign Jadeveon Clowney. That obviously did not happen. I'll be honest, I've got major concerns at the position. That's why I wanted to see Frank Clark at OTAs. I think that would have sent a good message, but clearly he's comfortable enough where he's able to skip those. I just look at this position group on the edge, and I'm like, where's the depth? The starters of Clark and Karlaftis have some potential, but it's not like that's even a certainty to give you incredible production. Is Joshua Kando going to be a reliable rotation guy? I like Michael Dana as a rotation guy, but you're pretty thin there. Like, say Clark or Karlaftis gets hurt, you're, drawing straws at the edge position. And I think on top of all that, you're banking on Karlaftis to be an impact player right away, which, look, at first-round pick, 30 overall, you should expect him to give you at least some good snaps, but you're asking him to do a lot. You're asking him to be a starter and a high-level one, in my opinion, right away, and that's hard for any rookie, much less a guy who was picked 30th in the first round. I don't know how realistic that is. And, even if he and Clark play really well, your depth is still spotty at best. The depth is not there at defensive end. We'll see if a couple of guys kind of, jump off the page this week and maybe you feel better about that position, but I'm still in the camp. I think you're going to have to sign a veteran edge at some point this offseason. Help us reach 3,000 followers on Rumble. We are approaching the 3,000 mark very quickly here, and among all the Chat Sports channels, not many have reached 3,000. So help us get there. Help us be the next channel that gets there. Daily coverage. We're live over there right now here on the Chiefs Report over on Rumble. Rumble.com/ChiefsTV. Let's get to 3,000 followers for more unfiltered access to the Chiefs Report. All right, let's talk running backs now, and I'll put competition in air quotes because maybe it's a competition, maybe it's not. I think it's more of just a committee, if I'm being completely honest. I assume Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be RB1. I think when the Chiefs take the field in September, he will be the first running back in that huddle. But now that Jerick McKinnon's back in the fold, really any of your top three guys could start. Edwards-Helaire, Ronald Jones, Jerick McKinnon. I think they're all going to play. I think they're all going to get playing time. Like I said, CEH will probably get that first crack at RB1, but I expect Ronald Jones to get opportunities. I expect Jerick McKinnon to get his touches as well, especially as a receiving back. I think that'll be the primary role for him, passing downs, third downs, that type of thing as well. So I think this is going to be a committee of sorts, but I'll be interested to see if CEH gets unseated because I think the Chiefs want him to be RB1. They spent a first-round pick on him. Let's be honest, the results through 2 years, not great for the former first-round pick. Who's going to have more rushing yards this year? I don't think Jerick McKinnon will be in this category in terms of pure rushing yards. Total yards, different story perhaps. Type CEH for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, type RJ for Ronald Jones. Who's going to have more rushing yards for the Chiefs this year? If you haven't already, I highly recommend that you subscribe to the Chiefs Report. If you love this football team, we're the channel for you. We're bringing you coverage on a daily basis here, the latest Chiefs news, rumors, minicamp preview like this video, and tons of other segments and shows as well. Hit that subscribe button. We go live every Monday, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central Time. We have you covered and answer all of your questions. Next storyline for minicamp, cornerback pecking order. I think it's going to be pretty clear who the three corners are when you're in nickel base, which their base will be nickel, I believe. Rashad Fenton, Trent McDuffie, the rookie out of Washington, L'Jarius Sneed. I assume Sneed will play the slot again, but the nice thing about these three guys, all three of them can play slot or outside. They're very, very versatile players. Fenton has done both in his career. Sneed has done both in his career. McDuffie, I think, has the skill set to go inside or outside. So again, the labels, the CB1, 2 slot, it's all irrelevant in a certain sense. Obviously, slot a little more relevant to see if he's going to mostly line up there. I assume that'll be the case based on what we saw last season. The starters are clear, but the roles may not be. We'll see what happens there. And plus, let's see, does Lonnie Johnson get a chance to crack into the lineup and get some snaps? They traded for him. He's done some decent things with the Texans in his career. You've got DeAndre Baker still, who's a former first-round pick. So, that pecking order is kind of what I'm keeping an eye on. I think your three starters are pretty clear, but, things could change, and we'll see how things look at minicamp this week. Who do you think will be the overall best corner? Not necessarily CB1, but just the best corner on the field this year. Type F for Rashad Fenton, type S for L'Jarius Sneed, or M for Trent McDuffie. I'd probably go Sneed as the top guy, although you could really make an argument that Fenton was this team's best corner last year, even at times Charvarius Ward, who's no longer on this team. F for Fenton, S for Sneed, or M for McDuffie. All right, final storyline, and it's not really an on-the-field storyline. It's the Orlando Brown contract watch continuing to roll along here. Just over a month out till that July 15th deadline to sign franchise tag players to long-term extensions. Could a deal happen this week? I mean, it seems like things could be moving quickly here as his agent, Michael Portner, and the Chiefs officially met for the first time last week. Negotiations appear to be ongoing. We'll see. Obviously, Orlando Brown is going to get a lot of money. This was my projected contract for Orlando Brown. 5 years, $107.5 million, 21.5 per year, and then $75 million guaranteed. That was the projected contract I had for Orlando Brown. We'll see if it's a little bit more than that. Certainly could get to over $22 million per year, but it's all going to depend, and I do think it could happen this week. I would venture to say it'll happen after minicamp, sometime between the end of minicamp and July 1st. I don't think they want to push this to the buzzer all the way up to July 15th, but these things, they can drag out. But it seems like there's some goodwill happening between the two sides. I don't think it's going to take forever. All right, there you go. Some storylines to watch this week for Chiefs minicamp. What's the number one thing you're watching for at minicamp this week? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll be interacting with you guys right there. All right, let's see. What you guys thinking? Number one storyline at minicamp. Let us know in the chat. Here we go. Someone says L'Jarius Sneed, CB1, McDuffie 2, Lonnie Johnson 3. I just think Fenton last year proved he could be a starter for this defense. Justin Ross, it's another good one. Curious to see what he brings to the table during minicamp this week. He did not practice in the final OTA practice, so we'll see. Someone says, I don't think they'll get a deal done. Why? There's no sign suggesting they won't, but obviously until they do, they don't have one. Justin Ross from Kevin, obviously. Yeah, I would lump that into the wide receiver competition in depth. See how he shows. Josh Gordon, Valdez-Scantling. Which defensive ends are the starters? Yeah, I think those are all things to watch out for this upcoming couple of days. All right, get on the show. If you want your questions answered, now is the time to load them up. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get your questions answered on today's show. That way, producer Trace can find as many of them as you can. If you Super Chat, we'll get to those first. I think we do have one Super Chat that we will answer right off the bat. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. It's mailbag time coming up here on the Chiefs Report. Chiefs Kingdom, welcome into the show. We got a mailbag coming up. Before we get to it, hit that subscribe button for the most Chiefs news and rumors that you're going to find anywhere on the internet. We cover you guys on a daily basis on this channel. News, rumors, free agency, minicamp stuff, training camp coming next month, then of course coverage throughout the season once August and September get here. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. You're watching the Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Today's show presented by Aura, an all-in-one digital safety tool that's going to keep you safe online. Hackers are more prevalent than ever. Try a 14-day free trial today, aura.com/chatsports. That is aura.com/chatsports. All right, let's get to your questions here, starting with KL368. Surprise contributors this year, offense and defense. Appreciate the super chat. It's a good question. Surprise contributors. How about on offense? I will go with, how about Josh Gordon as a surprise contributor and Jody Fortson as a couple of guys that can contribute offensively that may not be at the top of the list of, their positions. Chiefs fan 213. How do you feel about DK, I assume Metcalf, not going to mandatory minicamp? DK Mercator, I'm not familiar with his work. If you talk about Metcalf, I mean, look, he's in a weird spot, right? He wants money because he's seen the wide receiver market blown up, and he wants to get paid before this year because he's entering a contract year with Drew Lock and Geno Smith as his quarterbacks. He's not an idiot. He knows his numbers might be a little bit down this year based on the quarterback slinging it in Seattle. So if I'm DK, I'm trying to get paid, whether that's by Seattle or by another team. I think that's the message he is sending, and we'll see if he stays in Seattle or ends up getting traded. Josh Allen's worst nightmare. Picture of a clock. That is very creative. If the Chiefs don't feel great about wide receiver, could they sign OBJ? I think it's possible. I also think it could be like a midseason signing because I'm not convinced he's going to be ready for week 1. There was a lot of buzz after that surgery in February that he may not be ready until November, which makes sense. It puts it right at 9 months for the ACL recovery. You know, not many guys recover in 6 or 7 months. You're usually in that 8 to 10 month range. So we'll see, how progressed he is. At best, he still probably has 2 months to be fully healthy from now. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I think he's a guy you could sign and, kind of let him recover and get closer to healthy. Then maybe he's a guy you have week 6 and beyond. Who knows? I like OBJ. I thought he played really well for the Rams last year. It could be a nice piece for this offense. What do you guys think? Should the Chiefs go out and sign Odell Beckham Jr.? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no, you're not interested. I'm interested, but obviously I'm not giving him a lot of money because he's not going to play 17 games. Next up, Logan and Friends Vlogs. How many receivers do you think make the 53-man roster? Well, you look at the depth chart here. I think those top 4 guys, and not necessarily in that order in terms of, labels, receiver 1, receiver 2, etc. I think they're all safe. I think Juju, Hardman, Sky Moore, and Valdez-Scantling will make this team. So you've already got 4. I think they'll probably carry 6, so there's 2 spots left. And I think probably 4 or 5 guys jockeying for those spots. Josh Gordon, Justin Ross, Cornell Powell, Darius Fountain, and I'll throw Justin Watson in there because Mahomes has been impressed with him so far. 2 of those guys make it. If you ask me right now, I'd probably guess Gordon and Ross, but we'll see if some of those other guys have a say. I'll guess 6 receivers make the 53-man. Next up is Showtime Ice 69. Feelings on the NBA Finals, and what do you have to say about Tyreek saying Tua is more accurate than Mahomes? Well, let's talk about the Tua and Mahomes stuff. Look, what's he going to say? That his new quarterback sucks and Mahomes is more accurate? I mean, he'd be telling the truth if he said that Mahomes is more accurate, but at the end of the day, he's with Tua now. He doesn't want to, bag his new quarterback. I'm sure he texted Mahomes privately and was like, hey, you're my boy type thing. I don't really have major thoughts on the or the Tyreek podcast or anything like that. As far as the NBA Finals go, you're probably watching this. If you're watching this later in the week, Game 5 is in the books. But I think whoever wins Game 5 is in the driver's seat. That's what history tells us. If you take a 3-2 series lead in a 2-2 series, you got over an 80% chance of winning that series. So winner of Game 5 should win the whole thing. Dylan Rogers, do you think this McKinnon signing means Derek Gore gets cut? It's possible. I mean, you look at the RB depth chart. We can pull that up real quick for you guys. Unless something weird happens and they trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire or that Ronald Jones gets cut, I don't think that's going to be the case. It'll come down to one thing. Chiefs either have to carry 4 running backs or Gore and Pacheco get cut. They're definitely not both making it now unless McKinnon's just not good anymore, which I don't think that would be the case. We know they're going to carry a fullback. That's going to be Michael Burton. So, yeah, I mean, I think the news of Jerick McKinnon signing was probably hurt, or that news hurt Derek Gore the most, is what I'm trying to say, more than any other player on this roster. Shout out to Aura for sponsoring today's show, an all-in-one digital safety tool for you guys, and I've been using them for about a month now, and it's been fantastic because they're going to protect you against financial fraud. Identity theft protection is part of their service as well. Overall online and digital security, your email passwords, your social media accounts, those are going to stay protected as well. They'll send you real-time alerts too if there's suspicious banking activity happening on your credit or debit cards. You will be protected, and hey, family plans up to 5 people, and that's important because my grandparents don't know what the hell is going on online. And I don't blame them. It's a different era. Everything they've done their entire lives has been pen and paper. We're a different, generation now, but even I've been hacked before. It just happens, guys. Aura.com/chatsports, 14-day free trial to get going today. I promise they will not let you down, and you will want to extend that trial. I can just about guarantee it. Check the comments, check the description, aura.com/chatsports. Protect yourselves online. Luxac football, trade for Robert Quinn and sign Ndamukong Suh. Thoughts? Done. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'd love that. I think your defensive line, if you made those 2 moves, would go from a major question mark to a strength. I mean, your front 4 would be Robert Quinn, Frank Clark, and Ndamukong Suh, Chris Jones, and then George Karlaftis is like your fifth defensive lineman. That's pretty nice if you're Kansas City, if those two moves were to happen. AOQ, over-under Chiefs win total, 11.5. That feels proper for an over-under. I'd probably go over. I still think this is a really good team. It's going to be tough to beat, but the division makes it tougher. I'm kind of in that 12-win range for this team this year. I still think they're going to be very good and one of the top teams in the AFC. Devin the Madden King. Easily MVS. He has proved he has chemistry. So he's saying MVS is going to be wide receiver 1. Yeah, look, coming out of OTAs, he had a strong OTAs. He's building that chemistry with Mahomes, but it's OTAs. Like, I don't think that just pencils him in as wide receiver 1. I think the competition is ongoing. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for a lot of different guys. But, yeah, I think MVS is, earning a bigger role as we speak. Jamari Carter, what Madden rating would you give Trent McDuffie, Sky Moore, and George Karlaftis? I'd probably go McDuffie like 78, 79, Sky Moore right at 80 just because receiver is easier to transition. Then maybe like 73, 74 for Karlaftis. It might take him a little longer. So somewhere in that range for those guys. Mihu, would you want Kareem Hunt or Jerick McKinnon? I mean, Kareem Hunt's a better player. Like, I don't think anybody would say Jerick McKinnon is a better player than Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt's not going to play for the Chiefs again. I just don't see that happening, at least not anytime soon. Maybe a few years down the road, but I don't think right now that's even close to a realistic possibility. I think Jerick McKinnon as a rotation back for very cheap is a really good option. What year did you become a Chiefs fan? I want to know. Was it 1958? Was it 2020? I've gotten all kinds of answers in the past, so I want to ask you guys again. What year did you become a Chiefs fan? All right, a couple more on this mailbag. KC Cyclone, does Orlando Brown deserve to be the highest paid left tackle? What contract would get him there? So this was my projected contract for Brown. 5 years, $107.5 million, 75 guaranteed, and then 21.5 on the average per year. I think he could get a tick more than that. I don't think he'll be the highest paid at over $23 million, which is what Trent Williams is at, along with David Bakhtiari. But, if that's what it takes, you have to give it to him. I mean, you're not going to let him walk. So I think my answer, I don't think he deserves to be, but could he be? It's possible. Christopher Stockholm, okay, let's settle this. Were the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill unable to reach a deal, or is Tyreek not happy here? I mean, look, everything that I had heard before the podcast was Tyreek wanted to be with the Chiefs. Chiefs wanted Tyreek. And then the Devontae Adams and Christian Kirk contracts changed everything. The market exploded. Drew Rosenhaus and Tyreek Hill wanted more money. Chiefs basically said, look, this is our number. We're not going above it. And they decided to trade him. So that's what I've always understood. The only people who know for sure are the Chiefs front office, probably Andy Reid, maybe Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Drew Rosenhaus. Anybody else that says they know everything that happened is not telling the truth. Olive with the question, should the Chiefs try to get Terry McLaurin so we can have an actual number 1 receiver? So Terry McLaurin is holding out of minicamp. He wants a new contract. Look, if he becomes available via trade, I would love Terry McLaurin. I think he's really good. I think he's super underrated. He's averaged over 1,000 yards through his first 3 seasons per year, and he's played with 8 different quarterbacks. So, yeah, you put a guy like that with Patrick Mahomes, like some consistent QB play, I mean, he could take off. I mean, he could be a 1,400-yard guy. So, yeah, I would be very interested in him if he became available. Appreciate all your questions. You can ask more directly to me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, same handle, at HGramNFL. It is at HGramNFL on Twitter and on IG. So go ahead, ask away right there. If we didn't get to your question, perfect opportunity to ask me on social. All right, we'll get to your second mailbag in a moment, but get some shout-outs here. What year did you become a Chiefs fan? Let me know in the comments. Let's see here. What year did you become a Chiefs fan? 1990 for Joe, 92, 93 for Steve. Got 81 for Lionel. Yay says 2016. William 1967. 2006 for Ramon. Christopher says 2014. 1966 for Daniel, a little bit earlier. I think that's the furthest back we've got. 98 for RJ. Caleb King says 2003. Kevin 2012. Olive 2007. 2017 for Chargers. Basketball plays. 1989 for 65 TPT. Billy also in 67. So we've got a couple 1967s. Someone says, oh, year Grandma was born. Okay. You wouldn't have been alive, though. So how does that work? I guess you're saying whenever she became a fan, you became a fan? All right, it's in the DNA. It's in the bloodstream. One more mailbag to go. I'm pointing at Jeremy Chugs out, who's doing the on the Chiefs report. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. One more mailbag to go, and then we will call it here. So get your questions. Yeah, Data says runs in the blood. All right, fair enough. Hashtag Chiefs Super Chat. Load up your questions. If you want to guarantee to get on the show, send it a Super Chat. If you use the hashtag Chiefs, we'll get to a lot of those as well. So load them up, and we'll answer your questions for another 10 or 12 minutes. Today's Chiefs mailbag is powered by Aura. You want to stay safe online? Aura is going to help you do that, as they are a all-in-one digital safety provider. Go to aura.com/chatsports. Get a 14-day free trial today to stay secure online. All right, I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Welcome into the Chiefs Report. Time to answer all of your questions. We got Devin the Madden King up first here. Can Eric Berry make a return? So Eric Berry at this point, when we first started this channel, which was before the 2020 season, I believe, late 2019 season, I think we had a few videos, but we didn't really fully commit until before the 2020 season. I would get a lot of Eric Berry questions at the time. But now, he hasn't played since 2018, and keep this in mind, Devin. 2017, he played in 1 game, got injured. 2018, played in 2 games. He has not played more than 2 games in a season since 2016. That's 6 years ago. So the answer is no. Eric Berry's done. It's a shame that his career was cut short, because I think he had Hall of Fame potential. Probably not going to get there. I don't think he has enough stats. Daniel Lambert, do you think the Chiefs can go to a 3-4 defense? Can they? Sure. Will they? No, because Spags is not a 3-4 guy. Now, he can mix up his fronts a little bit more, be a little bit more multiple. I think that's a possibility. But their base is still going to be 4-3, or really 4-2-5 with the nickel out there as well. I think with their lack of defensive linemen, a 3-4 could make some sense, but I don't think they're going to go that route, because they're not super deep at linebacker either. And if you're light on the D-line, you got to be heavier at linebacker, and not really the case with this team right now. Harvey Dent, with the new wide receiver group, can Mahomes have another 5,000-yard passing and 40-touchdown season? Yeah, of course he's capable of that. Now, I think as great as Mahomes is, even he has shown it's not easy to do what he did in 2019 when he had over 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. But, last year he had 37 touchdowns and just under 5,000 yards. So he was really close last year, and that was with the slow start. So, yeah, it's a possibility. Would I predict that necessarily? No, I'd probably predict 35 to 40 touchdowns and, 4,500 to 5,000 yards. But, it's possible that he reaches both thresholds. Chuggin' Johnny. Will the Chiefs be better or worse than last year without Tyreek Hill? Well, Chuggin' Johnny, I don't know if you're related to Chuggin' Jimmy, but it's hard to say, right? I think the offense, everybody's going to get more opportunities without Tyreek Hill, because when you have a Tyreek Hill and a Travis Kelce, those are the guys you target, right? Especially in the money downs, why wouldn't you? But now you don't have a Hill. I think it could be a more natural kind of spread the ball out. Obviously, Kelce's going to be the go-to guy, but it's hard to say if better or worse. I'm not naive. Tyreek Hill is a hell of a player, and ideally it would have worked out, but it didn't. And so now we have to be optimistic and hope that depth outweighs, firepower. Will the Chiefs be better or worse with no Tyreek Hill? What do you guys think? B for better, W for worse? This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so you guys can reply right there. Daniel Guerrero, appreciate the $2 super chat. Do you think the defense could slow down the AFC West? Look, the AFC West is going to be tough, right? So you're hoping to slow down any of your opponents in the NFL. Offenses are so talented these days, but Denver's got Russell Wilson, good running game, good receivers. Derek Carr with Devontae Adams is probably going to have a big year. We know Justin Herbert and those boys can sling it. So you're hoping they can slow them down enough where Patrick Mahomes can just outscore these teams. I mean, I think that's kind of the reality of the situation. Appreciate the question from Daniel. # Chiefs or Super Chat to get your questions featured on the show. Before we get to that, though, Aura is today's sponsor, and you want to stay secure online. I know I do. I've had my Twitter hacked before. I've had a credit card hacked before. It's a pain in the ass to deal with that and try to get that stuff back. I lost my first Twitter in college. Just had to start a new one. That would be way worse now because I'm at like 4,000 followers. Be tougher to deal with. Aura.com/chatsports for a 14-day free trial. They're also going to protect you for offer financial fraud protection, I should say. Banking, online shopping, all that good stuff. Identity theft protection. Millions and millions and millions of people have their ID stolen online every single year. Overall online and device security, your passwords, your social media, your online accounts. I mean, we do everything online. Get a free trial today, or.com/chatsports, 14-day free trial. Family plans up to 5 people. Give it a try. Link is in the comments, and it is in the description. Caleb King, how many touchdowns does Michael Burton get this year? 2, 3 maybe. The Chiefs utilize fullbacks more than most teams outside of maybe San Francisco. They're certainly up there. So I'll say a couple. I definitely think he'll find his way into the end zone. Chargers 56 basketball plays. Do you think Mahomes' stats will increase without the cheetah? I've been asked this a few times. It's hard to really say. I think what will change is I think more receivers will get opportunities and their stats will be higher, right? Like a Josh Gordon, if he makes his team, should get more opportunities. McCole Hardman should get more opportunities. Doesn't necessarily mean Mahomes' stats will go up, but I think more guys will get more targets and catches. Kevin Gonzalez, does Travis Kelce have a great year without Tyreek out there, or does he struggle because he's the more dangerous target? I don't think he'll struggle. He'll probably draw more double teams, though. And that's okay. If he's getting doubled consistently, I think the Chiefs have good enough receivers to win man-to-man opportunities. So I still think Kelce's going to have a huge year. He'll have another 1,000-yard season if he's healthy. Maybe he won't get quite the targets because of more double teams, but he's still going to be featured quite a bit. Caleb King, who should the Chiefs target in the 2023 draft? I mean, it's way too early to say, but I think receiver's a possibility depending on how some of these guys play this year. I think, a sneaky possibility is right tackle. So Lucas Niang still dealing with that torn patellar. Unclear when he's going to come back. Darian Kinnard, 5th-round rookie out of Kentucky. Is he the answer? Maybe. I still think if Niang's healthy, he's a solid right tackle. That's a tough injury to come back from. I think that could be a position. Running back later in the draft, I think it's possible. I don't think you'll do one early. Definitely edge rusher. I mean, you got to get some pass rushers. So a few different ways the Chiefs could go, that's for sure. Speaking of right tackle, who starts? If Niang is healthy, I think he'll start. I'm not sure he'll be ready week 1, though. So if I had to guess today, I would probably guess that Andrew Wiley starts at right tackle. That's who finished at right tackle last year. He's the most experienced option for that position. And, you know what you have there. Nothing great, but he's not going to, lose any games for you either. So if I had to guess, week 1, it'll be Andrew Wiley. Once Niang is healthy, I think it'll be him, but I don't think that's necessarily a guarantee. Join the squad here at the Chiefs Report, and if you've already subscribed, type squad in the chat. But if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 31,000 subs ASAP. We're almost halfway there, between 30 and 31, just 25 or so subs away from 30,500. Daily videos, the latest news, rumors, breaking news, free agency draft coverage. We do it all. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Wyatt Radlund, should the Chiefs add to the wide receiver depth chart? I mean, you can. I mean, there's guys like Julio, OBJ, Cole Beasley, Will Fuller out there. I think they're going to roll with what they got right now. And then, if they feel like they need to add somebody, they will. The Ringer, do you think Isaiah Pacheco could be a big steal? Well, I think now that Jerick McKinnon is back, I think Pacheco's RB5, which probably means he's going to be on the practice squad. I think he's stuck behind Edwards-Helaire. Ronald Jones, McKinnon, and I think Derek Gore as well. So I think he's probably on the outside looking in. Kevin Gonzalez, do you consider linebacker set, or do we need more help there? I would like to add another backer there. I think you're okay, but one more guy certainly wouldn't hurt. I do like the Leo Chenal draft pick. I think they have a couple of depth guys that could help out, but maybe one more vet could be what the doctor ordered. Are you going to go to a Chiefs game this year? Let me know. Curious. Y for yes, N for no. And if you are going, let me know which game you are going to, if you know. Maybe you know that you're going to a game, but you don't know which one yet. But if you do, let me know which one it is down in the comments. Appreciate all the questions on today's Chiefs Report. If you want to ask me more, follow me on social media at HGramNFL on Instagram. Same handle on Twitter. It's at HGramNFL. I try to answer as many questions as I can, but if you have any more, DM me. DMs are open. Hit that follow button on my social, and then slide in the DMs and ask me a question. All right, I'll get a couple shout-outs here, and then we will wrap it up. And no loop today, Trace. We'll just sign off. Y for yes, N for no. Are you guys going to a Chiefs game this year? Kevin says yes. Christian says yes. You don't have to. Just go fade to black here. Adrian says yes. Let's see. Cole says he wants to go. Keep Pacheco, back up, roll with him. Save him for the playoffs. Maybe. I think you can put him on the practice squad. He won't get poached. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Caleb King says yes. Chiefs fan says yes as well. All right. I'm Harrison Graham. Going to sign off. Like the video. Remember, month of June is all about likes. Thanks to producer Trace and executive producer Patrick Seatman. We're going to sign off. We'll see you soon with some more videos.